back in the saddle once again. It is Wednesday night, and it is time for the glorified version of a bass fishing talk show. I'm your host, Pat Renwick, and this is Stray Cast. Yes, yes, yes. Woo! That's how we do it. That's how we do it at Stray Cast. Boom, right there. We're excited to be back. We were off for a week for trick or treats, and we're back now.
You just got back from a snowboarding trip.
I just got a Disney snowboarding trip, according to you. Rip Mountain 2, Electric Escape from the Electric Mountain. Yes.
A lot of good lessons in that movie.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. I take that as a compliment. But yeah, it's Wednesday night. We're here again. We're excited. The change is among us in bass fishing. The season has changed. The winds of Thor have blown so cold, and we come to you again this eve with Bass Fishing Maniacy. We are so excited to have, for the second time ever on this show, it's his sophomore appearance. Ladies and gentlemen, his name is Dave Mercer, and he's coming on tonight, live. Dave Mercer, a shining star in the bass fishing galaxy.
Got the facts.
There's no doubt. He does have the facts. This guy, speaking nothing but the facts, and smelling like a rose, apparently, next to me over here.
Not so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, they call him Popcorn because he is extra buttery. This is Ryan Popcorn Whitaker. Yes.
Finally figured out the reason.
Yes. He is apparently
reliable
buttery.
Source.
True story. Ryan met a stranger. Stranger told him they call you Popcorn because you're buttery.
Yeah.
True story.
30 seconds into meeting him.
Ryan, you are. Ryan is Dutch ovening me over here without the Dutch. Already oven. This is a ridiculous. Did you eat baby food and dead possum before this show started?
If I fall over, don't.
Holy
pay
cow!
No mind.
Goodness gracious. It's Ryan Popcorn Whitaker.
Popcorn. Yeah.
You know who's the Lord of the Dark Web? It's coming out of the trees right now. It's that guy. He's never too bashful to stand up and shout. It's J.P. Hi, the hip-hop fisherman. Lord of the Ned Rig. America's sweetheart. Stand up and shout, JP. JP, you mostly listen to rap, but your two favorite metal or rock bands are what? AC/DC and GNR?
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
That's pretty accurate.
That's pretty accurate.
Guns N' Roses first.
Yeah. Well, Guns N' Roses. Come on. Need be saying. Speaking of Guns N' Roses, this guy and Mark Jeffries both used to be roadies for Black Flag.
This is how we party.
Get ready. Turn it up. It's El Shinjo Ninja. Shakada. Yeah, in the house. Yeah. That's Ginger. That's Ginger Ninja. He's playing with new buttons back there tonight. I love it.
I like that.
I absolutely love it. Hey, Stray Cast is an amazing place to get free stuff.
Yes.
Do you know that?
I do know that.
It's an amazing place to give free stuff. And at the end of every Stray Cast, Nicole Dorr, Bass Fishing Supermodel, she comes on and gives away $50 worth of bass and garb. Today's stuff is from Louis Vuitton.
That's right.
It's actually Louis Vuitton rainwear. No. What is it, Ryan? What's tonight?
We're going to give away some tightrope jigs.
Tightrope jigs.
They have not been given away in some time.
Yes. Whoa.
And, we're going to give away $50 worth.
$50 worth of tightrope jigs. And if those of you that are not familiar with tightrope jigs, they are, yes, they're familiar. They're a hand-tied finesse jig. They look like a piece of popcorn. That's actually why I call Ryan Popcorn.
That's true.
They look like a
And
little fluffy ball of popcorn, and they are bass fishing smallmouth, largemouth spotted bass candy when it comes to finesse jigs. And you have a chance to win $50 worth of them tonight. All you have to do is like and share the live Facebook feed. Boom! It's that easy. Like and share the live Facebook feed. Nicole Dorr, Bass Fishing Supermodel. She will be on at the end of the show. She will pick a lucky winner. Boom! $50 worth of tightrope jigs. It's that easy. Hey, a couple things going on in the bass fishing world I want to talk about before we break here. First off, if you have not seen Fish My City, Mike Iaconelli's Fish My City on Nat Geo Wild, do so. It's an awesome show. We're super proud of our buddy Mike. We wish him the best and hope the show does tremendous. I know it's doing really well. It's on Friday nights, 9 o'clock. Is that 9 o'clock our time?
That's right. Yeah.
10 o'clock our time. And we don't. Look at your local listings. Nat Geo Wild, I know it's on Friday nights. Set your DVR. Plain and simple. And also, if you don't feel like watching this show tonight, go to IkeLive.com and watch Ike Live.
Nah, don't do that.
Now, we're that cool. I don't care. If they want to do it, they can. Boom. There it is right now. But hey.
You can watch them both.
Yeah, you know.
One on the phone, one on the computer.
Yeah, well, golly. Was that Gomer Pyle?
Hey, what happened?
What's that? But hey, it's going to be fun. I promise you that. If you stick around and you put those power poles down, it's going to be a good time for all. See you in a minute. Don't go nowhere. Step up your game. It has been said that professionals are only as good as the tools they work with, and Alpha Angler has developed the ultimate set of tools for you, the competitive angler. Alpha Angler custom rods, brought to fruition by the passion of master craftsman Jake Boomer and 2017 BASS Angler of the Year Brandon Palaniuk. Alpha Angler rods are custom made in the USA. Designed and engineered to be perfect, Alpha Angler utilizes a very unconventional approach to making the very best bass rods, from drop shotting to flipping. Alpha Angler's focus is on building perfectly balanced tournament-grade bass rods at an affordable price. Join the Alphalution today and purchase direct at alphaangler.com. Step up your game. alphaangler.com.
Taming the beast isn't easy, but the bigger your electronics, the more you have on the line. In conditions like this, you need the KVD Kong Extreme Electronics Mount. The only electronics mount designed and built to be rock solid, no movement, no matter how heavy your gear. A marine-grade mount for fresh or salt water that's monstrously strong. The KVD Kong Extreme Electronics Mount.
Hey guys, Micah Frazier here. I've got a bait from War Eagle Baits called the Buzz Toad. Big thing lately has been putting a toad style bait on a buzz bait, and preferably it's my favorite way to fish one. This bait here's got a quick planing head, a great hook, and it squeals right out of the package. The body of this bait is big and bulky, so it allows you to skip it. It planes quicker than a skirted bait would. In my opinion, it's just the way to fish a buzz bait. So y'all check this thing out. It's pretty awesome.
Welcome back. Oh me, oh my. Pretty good, pretty neat. Welcome back to Straight Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. I am your host, Pat Renwick. And from a fortress of solitude, somewhere in the north, ladies and gentlemen, we bring to you, for the second time on this show, the one and only Dave Mercer. Yes. David, it is amazing to see you again.
It is amazing to be seen. It's I got to be honest. Most shows that I'm on once, I'm never on twice. So this is a big change for me.
Well, the truth of the matter is, I've been after you to come back on this show since your last appearance, but you have so many publicists, so many agents now. There's just a plethora of red tape that I must get through to get to Dave Mercer. It used to be I could just call you up, but I don't know.
Times change. Times change. I mean, guys, big things going on in the fishing world, and my agents are a big part of that, obviously. No, I'm glad to be here. I mean, unfortunately, for those that follow me throughout the year, you probably know been dealing with some back issues and missed the last two Bassmaster events of the year. You know, one being the bracket event, and congrats to all those guys going to the Classic. And then what's happening right now, the Bass Nation event. Unfortunately, not able to be there, dealing with a bit of a bad back. But my doctor says it'll be fixed.
It was supposed to be fixed about a week back, he told me. You get it?
Yeah, they're confused. They're confused. But I don't know. But I mean, hey, thankfully it happened now at the end of the season.
You look great, Dave. You look phenomenal.
Well, I mean, I've been sitting around on the couch for 3 weeks. A man sits on a couch for that long, he's probably going to look okay, I guess. I mean, well rested.
You have a very couchy glow to you right now.
It's about as relaxed as you'll ever get me, but which is shocking. Speaking of being relaxed with the world that's going on in the bass fishing world right now, but hey, it's a little speed bump, and I always say, if the worst pain my family feels is my back, we're a very lucky family. So.
There you go. Very good, man. Well said. And you kind of said, I mean, I think the pressing question in the entire bass fishing world right now, let's get this out of the way, and especially since you've been on the show last time, the entire bass fishing community really wants to know, has your Japanese reading skills improved any?
Yeah, I mean, I'm working on it. It's not easy. It's a tough language to learn, but I'm getting there. I mean, I don't want to really reveal it to the fishing world until it's totally ready. I did that before, and a few 3-4 words, you look like an idiot. So
you got the best job of your life from that. What are you talking about? It's the best job of your life from your Japanese reading skills we learned about you last show. Jerry McKinnick was so impressed, he gave you a job on the spot.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty lucky with that. I wonder how it worked out. I honestly, I say that all the time. I mean, I've been working for the Bassmaster Elite Series now. This will be my 9th Classic, I believe, coming into here. So my 9th Classic, or 10th Classic, 9th season, because I started the Classic. But it's just so bizarre, like, that you even have this job. I'll be honest, it's really easy to like do interviews like this and be like, yeah, I'm off season looking. But I still am that weirdo who is like, holy shit, you actually convinced these guys to give you that job.
You're a great salesman, Dave. It's awesome. No, dude, and things are good for you. I mean, let's put the back pain aside. Let's put the change in the bass fishing industry aside. Dave, you're a pretty fortunate man. I mean, you really are, dude. Plain and simple.
I'm a very fortunate person. I mean, to be honest, I as a dad of 2 kids that I love, I always tell them, I'm like, you guys are going to be kind of screwed up no matter how things work out. Because,
I told
you
my
had
kid.
a dad, that had a dream and was, my dream at the beginning of this was I just want to fish for a living, and then it was like, I just want to be part of bass, and to be part of that and to make a living is something I never, ever forget. I mean, all seriousness, I joke around a lot, but trust me, I realize how lucky I am, and I'm thankful for it every single day.
That's awesome. And let that back pain, let that be the coal of the furnace of your ambition, okay? You know what I'm saying? Let that pain be the coal of your furnace to drive
I'm
you.
dealing with that pain right now.
Again, you seem okay. And we appreciate you doing this. That's for sure. Man, there's different levels of craziness in this world, and especially in bass fishing. There's regular crazy, then there's like out of body crazy, and I mean this with a compliment. To me, you are crazy, and I love it. And it's a fresh breath of fresh air. That was a fresh of breath air that you bring to the weigh-in stage, man. I mean, I just wanted to let you know that publicly, and I'm not kissing your ass, dude. I'm just letting you know that's how we feel here, and it's a true story.
I appreciate that a lot, and you know, my whole goal with my job at Bass is just to. I just want to. I guess the best way to explain this, I'm sure you have heard writers say, you know, a good writer, you know, writes about a topic but doesn't insert himself. You know, it's about the topic, and it makes that moment, builds that moment. And my goal is, hey, when Jordan Lee wins a classic, I want him to look back and I want to be able to. I work as hard as I can to get the people in the crowd to cheer for those guys, because it's one of the things that drives me crazy, and it's one of the things that makes our sport so special. In other sports, I mean, you do all the activity in front of the crowds, you get that cheering throughout the day, but these guys leave for 8 hours and they come back, and sure, you know, there's flotillas that follow them around and they'll get a hoot and a holler, but to me, with everything that these guys and girls, you know, I mean, there's no ladies on the Elite Series now, but that's now, there's a lot of anglers trying to make it. But you have to risk so much and commit so much to make it on the Elite Series. For me, I just want to, I'll do whatever it takes to get that crowd. You know, I'm an idiot that runs out on the stage and spits water in the air and stuff like that. Yes. Why do I do that? I don't know. I watched too much wrestling growing up, probably.
It's awesome.
But the other reason is to get people excited, you know, because it is, you know, to me, that's the moment those guys get. And anybody who's ever attended a classic, you know, I think Kevin says it's best. You know, there's the guy who has had the most dominant career in the history of fishing. He's like, I can't miss that crowning moment. You know, the hair on the back of my neck stands up. That we're so addicted to it. And for me to run around and be able to be, whether it's crazy, strange, or whatever you want to call it, I'm just being myself, and I'm just putting my own energy out there. I mean, I swear to you, if you sat with me, you know, let's be honest, a few years from now, it might be sooner than I know, I'll probably get fired. And I love the classic, so I'm still going to go to the freaking classic. It's not like I'm going to get fired and stay at home in Canada and sulk. I'll still be at the classic. But if that first classic that I'm not on the stage, if you're with me, I swear to you, I will jump when that person wins. It's just what it means. I mean, the Edwin Evers thing, you know, Zona makes fun of me because I think I got a solid 2.5 inches of airtime in that jump.
The 29
at the time, I felt
pounds
like
one?
I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, flying, but it was 2.5 inches of airtime. And the funny thing is, I didn't even know I jumped until I saw the picture. That's the weirdest thing. You know, you don't know what you're doing up there. You're just an idiot.
Oh, that
You had no idea what that weight was going to be. That's what it was, right?
Well, and that's another thing that I do. And a lot of people will say, you know, do you pre-plan what you're going to announce for the winner or whatever? But you ask Zoni, you ask Davey, you ask Tommy, all those guys I work with. For the most part, I try not to find out who won. I don't pay a lot of attention on, especially at the Classic. I mean, most other events, I'm covering it, so I kind of got to know what's going on. But I'll never do a check right before I go on stage and say who's. So I had heard Edwin had a big bag, but nobody knew how big it was. You know what I mean? Just like when Jordan Lee came in, you know, there was rumblings, but nobody really knew. And I like to keep that like that. For me, just number one, it makes the events more fun. But number two, I think it's more genuine. You know, it's more real. And I think today's viewer deserves real. Like, and this, you know, this podcast and all the other podcasts out there and interviews. If you watch, one of the things that drives me crazy is how stupid our forefathers were. Think about it. I mean, really, like you watch the freaking Tonight Show back then, they would, and I'm not making fun of Johnny Carson or anybody, but the days of those pre-planned interviews and people not being real, Hey, let me tell you a story about the time I went to the zoo. And then you'll cue me up with, oh, you ran into a friend, didn't you? And I'll hit the punchline. I'm just real. And I want to show as much realness as I can on
It
stage.
conveys, Dave Mercer. That's my point. It conveys. I don't know if anyone's ever described you as this, but to us, you are basically the shining star on an instrumentation panel of a car. Do you know what that means?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
What do you think it means?
A shining star instrumentation?
Yeah, the shining star on an instrumentation panel of your truck. What does that mean?
I have no idea what that means.
That means
shining
that
star sounds nice, though. I'll take that.
yes. So instrumentation panels can be both good and bad. There's that check engine light. That's a bad one. But then there's that full gas tank light. You're the full gas tank light, Dave Mercer. That's what I'm getting at right there.
It's true. I have been full of gas. I think it's the back medication I'm taking. I don't know, to be honest.
Speaking of gas, popcorn over here, I'm having trouble. I'm going to be honest with
was
you.
full of gas.
There's something going on with this guy.
Now I'm empty.
It's dead possum and baby food that he ate prior to the show in the green room, apparently. No.
Yeah.
We'll be okay, Dave.
You're welcome.
We'll be
I'm glad Skype doesn't have scent.
scratch and sniff Skype. You don't have that?
No.
Okay,
no,
good.
and trust me, if I did, I would not be scratching nor sniffing right now.
Dave, speaking of scratching and sniffing, we as humans have the tendency to get ourselves into rabbit holes. You know what I mean? Whether it be your cell phone. You get caught on that cell phone. You know, you're just scrolling through the social media, the YouTube, whatever. There's a television. It's as simple as like going to the bank. Say you go into the bank and they have that screen. I don't think there's a human that can just like not get entranced by a screen for a moment. Okay? What I'm getting at here is what is a rabbit hole in bass fishing that bass fishermen need to avoid? So a habit or a condition that bass fishermen get into that they need to avoid.
See, now this is one of those moments where I think, the way Johnny Carson and those guys used to do it was so much smarter. It was all planned out. You didn't have to stop and think like this.
I understand.
I'll tell you
like
one of the
bass
biggest
fish.
rabbit holes that I see happen in it, and it's specifically the tournament fishermen. And I've seen this happen to them on the water. It's happened to me, and it's specifically to do with bedding fish.
Okay.
Finding a bedding fish in a spring tournament can either make you or break you.
Sure.
And I've watched, and Kelly Jordan, one of my good friends, has told me tons of stories. I've seen him do it where he finds that giant fish and gets so obsessed by it. That's all that matters. And actually, even if he catches the fish, it ends up destroying his entire tournament because he committed so much time to it.
Sure.
So don't remember the goal. Yeah, I mean, I'm not telling you if you find a giant fish. I mean, put it. I'll go check it out and try catch it for you. If you send me the waypoint. But what I'm saying is keep in mind that it's so easy for hours to tick past really quick when you're fishing a giant bedding fish, and everybody
Even a regular day of fishing. Come on.
That's right. And you need to keep a mental clock in your head and be like, okay, I've invested. When you see a bedding fish in a tournament, or even when you're fun fishing, like you said, think in your head, set amount of time. I mean, I think it sounds macho, and I like to say, I'm not leaving this fish. Talons are down.
That fish
I'm
is
gonna catch
mine.
him.
Yeah.
But if you want to have a successful day, I mean, it's the same thing when we go to shoot shows. I mean, if I find one big giant fish and I work it all day, that's a beautiful fish. It's going to make a super badass Facebook post, but it's not going to make a very good show. I need, more than one fish.
Yeah.
So you do have to keep, when you said the term rabbit hole, I thought about, in that term, where somebody gets trapped somewhere and they just get sucked down that rabbit hole and it ends up going in all sorts of different directions. It's like a good movie. You laugh, you cry,
Yeah.
but sometimes donating too much time to those fish will make you cry.
So stay out of that
and
hole.
What always happens too is if you set yourself at 45 minutes, right at 45 minutes is when that fish gets really fired up, and you're like, "Well, I got to give it another hour." You know.
But I mean, every plan you're
Yeah.
allowed to adapt. You know, you don't have to stick right to it. I mean, it's a guideline.
Right. Hey, Dave, we talked a little bit about the expansion of your career and how it's gone since you started a little bit last time on the show. But what I want to know is, how do you, as an MC or a host, however you want to put it or categorize yourself, member of the bass fishing media, how's that? Shining star on the instrumentation panel of your truck, however you want to put it. How do you feel when you see yourself on television? Is it still weird?
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I hate my voice. I swear to you. And I always say that's probably a good thing. I mean, if I loved my voice and I was the guy that came over to watch the classic with you and was like, shh, 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 here comes my part, listen. I'd
you'd
be
be
a real
Kanye
jerk,
West,
right? But
It's like an angel.
weird. I watch, a Bassmaster show, and I listen to Tommy and Zona and Davey and Such and Ronnie and the guys, and to me, they all sound very professional.
They do.
And then when I hear my voice, I'm like, how the hell did they hire that guy?
It's because you read Japanese. Come on.
Yeah, that's what it is, really. It's weird, but I think it's TV is just one of those weird jobs. When you work in TV, TV just seems different to you. You know what I mean? But I do think it's odd. That it's more odd when you're not expecting it. Like I remember after one of the first classics I emceed, I'm walking through the airport the next day, and I'm, you're dead tired. You're just dragging your butt, just like you guys, the media, everybody. The classic whoops you.
Sure.
So you're like just going through the airport, and I happened to walk past like a sports bar, and they had like a wall of TVs, and ESPN was showing highlights, right? And I wasn't even watching it. It was just noise while I was walking, and then the highlight went to the classic, and I heard my voice, and I'm like, it's so bizarre. It just does really seem bizarre. To me, here's what it sounds like to me. When all of you guys at home act like you're the announcer for the classic, and it doesn't quite sound right, that's what it sounds like to me.
Okay. So you're still uncomfortable. That answers the question. I don't think you can ever get comfortable with something like that,
I think everybody hates their own voice. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with rewatching, but that being said, as far as comfort, it's weird. There's very few places on earth I'm more comfortable than the classic stage. You know what I mean?
Isn't that nuts?
Trust me, I don't want that event to end. It's such the vibe from the audience and everything. It's just so amazing.
It's because
so
you love bass
there,
fishing. You love bass fishing. You love bass fishing. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
And there's different levels of bass fishing. And what I mean by that is, in our sport that we love so much, you see, I don't know if levels is the correct word. I guess categories might be the word, okay? And we see the weekend angler. We see the tournament angler, the club tournament angler. We see the, I don't know how to put it, semi-professional angler. We see the professional angler. We see different categories of people participating in this sport. You have your professional anglers, as we mentioned. You have your sponsored anglers. You have your 10%er anglers, and you have just standard consumers. Am I making any sense with these comparisons? Do you see where I'm going?
You had me until 10%ers. I'm not sure what is that. 10% of the time they go fishing?
No, 10%ers are people that claim to be sponsored but just get 10% off of products.
Oh, okay.
Now Dave knows.
I know some of them.
Yeah.
I know those guys.
They used to work at All American Burger. You know them. Yeah. But here, do other sports have all these tiers? Like, are all these? Is that consist in in baseball? Is there a guy that gets like 10% off of Rawlings gloves because he's sponsored for his local team? Do they have a softball team? Sure. Do they get sponsored for
I think
this?
the niche sports have it.
I
I saw a bunch of guys playing darts with a bunch of jerseys on. Recently.
Do they have that? Do you know about this?
Maybe they were sponsored.
I think that's one of the things that makes our sport so peculiar, but so amazing at the same time.
That's what I'm saying.
I kind of joke about it, like it's weird. I mean, if I were an announcer in the NFL, I could go to any team. I'll choose the Kansas City Chiefs because they're my favorite and they're so awesome this year. Finally, we have something to freaking cheer about.
Our Bears too, yes.
If I went to a Chiefs game, I'd see a bunch of people wearing jerseys.
Yeah.
But they'd be Patrick Mahomes jerseys.
Right.
They wouldn't be their own jerseys. And it is such a weird thing, but I think that's also really what makes it so special. Like when you think about it, really, Jordan Lee has won the last 2 classics. When he was 12 years old, he sat in those seats.
I know.
You know what I mean? Say that
Yeah.
to yourself. And that's what I think, if anything is proven, especially with a lot of changes going on, that's what Bass does. The names always change because it's the next guy up. Because that's what makes this sport so different. Jordan Lee can sit in the crowd at 12 years old. And, less than 15 years later, he can hold that trophy. You hear that story all the time. And I think that's one of the coolest things about the Classic. You know what I mean? It's the only tournament out there where you hear people. It's the only tournament out there that changes your life. Like, ultimately, and I don't even mean if you win it. There's so many stories and so many people. I mean, it's just what you want to be part of it. Fishing in the Classic is no different than attending in it. If you're watching this show right now and you attended your first Classic, answer me this question honestly. When you left that Classic, did you want to go to the next Classic worse than you wanted to go to the first Classic?
Absolutely, yes. It was amazing.
And that's exactly what it feels like as an angler. You hear that all the time where guys will qualify through the Bass Nation or something, and then they'll say, hey, man, I don't care what it takes, but I have to get back here.
Got to do it. Yep.
It's a magical event, and that's what makes our sport different. Yeah, golf has the U.S. Open and stuff like that, but really, I mean, can I really go and win that? That's is it really feasible? But in bass fishing, it is feasible, and on so many different levels. My buddy Charles Sims qualified for the Classic 3 years ago. Canadian dude, second Canadian ever to do it. And he was at the Classic the year before in the live well, right in front of the stage. He has a picture of it. And he took a selfie of himself with the stage behind him 1 year before he qualified. And at that moment, he had no idea that next year he'd be on that stage. And I think that's really cool. Like, in our sport, you can do that.
Yeah, and there's no other place. There's no other
Hey,
place.
how cool would it be though if people actually bought like KVD jerseys and wore them in the crowd, or Jordan Lee jerseys, and they could actually.
And we do see
generate-
some of that. Yeah, some.
I've seen it a
but
handful
not the
of
magnitude.
times,
yeah.
but that would be really cool to show support for your favorite angler. Can you even buy one?
I think it's something that's got to be coming. I mean, there is some guys that sell them, but I think it's only time. You know what I mean? And I'm sure that's something that's coming down the road. I mean, it's the anglers. That's the coolest thing about bass, in my opinion, is the fans and how, like, when you think about it, like, you go to a Classic, all you gotta do is commit to go there. You don't need tickets. You don't need nothing. You show up, you get to hang with these guys.
Have a good time.
It really is. Until you remove yourself and stop, like when you're working, you kind of just think, oh, this is what the Classic is or whatever. But when you stop and think, you're like, okay, so what other sport has an event like this? That somebody could sit in the crowd, and what other sport has a learning curve like
so
this?
interactive. It's very interactive.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Now, they say that there's a new bass fishing league. We know that. There's the
Yeah.
there's the Bass Pro Tour, and one of their goals is to bring bass fishing to the mainstream. Correct? That's what I hear, right? Everything that you have just described about what Bass does is bringing things to the mainstream. I mean, it really is. All that stuff is bringing to the mainstream. If you had a say in it, or if you had an idea to contribute to Bass to further bring fishing more to the mainstream, what would it be? What would it be, Dave?
A bunch of people are going to hate me for this, but I've said it from the start: shorten the days.
Shorten the days.
I mean, I'll use one example over and over again. If I said to you, "Hey, Pat, how'd you like to come over to my house? I'm going to do the Rubik's Cube. You can watch me." It's boring. But if I said, "Hey, Pat,
Yes.
I can do the Rubik's Cube in 2 minutes. Watch this." It's exciting.
I'm watching it.
I really think that I mean, I wish, and I know that there's a lot of guys who fight it. You know, they say it's not a pure tournament if you don't have 8 hours and you can't go as far. But to me, I mean, baseball would be more exciting if they made it shorter. I think every sport would be more exciting. The more pressure you're under, that, you know, to me, I would love to see it where we had shorter days. You know,
good
I'm
concept.
talking 3 to 4 hour days.
Nice. Wow. 3 or 4 hour days. Boom, 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 boom.
I just think when you watch the bracket event where guys fish for 3 hours, it really the time is one of the things that makes our sport so special. I've used the example of Aaron when Aaron won in Chesapeake. You know, Bassmaster Live, being able to watch it for those 8 hours. What made it so special is you saw him crash all morning, and everybody was like, "Oh no, is Aaron going to do it again?" And boom, then he caught that 7, and you know, he turned around. But following that pattern is what made it exciting. But I just think that I want to see people make decisions quick. I don't want you to be able to recover from a mistake.
Nice,
You know what I mean? That makes
nice.
it more exciting to me.
Okay.
And that's, you know, that's the classic. Why is the classic so hard to win? Because there's one a year. You got one shot at it. And if you screw it up on day one, you can't recover until the next time. You know, so shorter days to me, you know, the more limited they make it, the shorter the days. I'd love to see that. Now, that being said, I do not believe we're doing that. I haven't heard anyone talk about it. I'm probably going to get in trouble for it.
No.
But I'd love to see that.
Yeah, keep it more exciting anyway.
Yeah,
no doubt
for
about
sure.
it.
And then who wants to stand around all day? It's exhausting.
Hey, let's really get to know Dave Mercer right now.
Okay.
Dave.
Man, open up.
Dave?
Yeah, Dave.
Dave's not here.
No, man, I am Dave, man. Will you come on?
You need to get the door,
I
Dave.
got the stuff with me. I think the cops saw
Who
me.
is it?
Oh, what the hell is it? Come-
He's not home.
Open up
Dave's
the
not
door. It's
home.
Dave.
Who?
Dave. D-A-V-E. Will you open up the door?
He's on straight
Yeah,
cast,
Dave.
dummy. It's wrong.
Dave?
Right.
Okay. Very good. Now, finally, glad. Let's get on with the show. There it is. The whole fact of the matter is I want to get to know you. And have you ever seen Uncle Buck?
I have, yes.
You know when he says, "What's your record for most consecutive questions in a row?"
Okay.
You know what part I'm talking about? Where the Home Alone kid, he asked him that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we're going to play Stray Cast Edition, most consecutive questions in a row, interrogation style.
Bring it.
It's going to be amazing. So you
Okay.
give me a brief answer, and if you want to do a brief explanation after your answer, you can.
Okay.
Okay? Let's interrogate Dave Mercer right now.
Okay.
We have any... There. Yes.
It's funny because when I watch, you see that little Bass Pro 99-cent thing?
Yeah, that's me.
When I watch on Skype, my head's right above it, so it seems like I'm as advertised on sale for 99 cents.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. Bassin' ain't easy. It's time for the interrogation of Dave Mercer on Stray Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. Dave, are you ready?
Bring it.
Is it true that Tommy Sanders has made millions off of male enhancement advertisement in Japan?
It is true.
It is true. Is it true that Tommy Sanders
But
was...
it is not for ED. It is for hair growth.
For hair growth. It's true. Dispelling myths and learning about Dave Mercer. Is Tommy Sanders really raised by wolves on a South Pacific island?
Tommy Sanders raised wolves on a South Pacific island. They adopted him, but realized he was the alpha and could not control him. He became the leader at the young age of 6 months.
Interesting. Does Davey Height still have night tremors regarding his infamous front deck celebration dance?
He does. He does. He wakes up in a cold sweat, and all he is wearing is those jean shorts, the jorts, and he's covered in bacon rind. Covered in it. It's all over him.
Is Ronnie Moore really a droid bionically engineered by BASS?
Yes.
True. I thought so. That was kind of a dumb question. Is Mike Suchan ever been in a Turkish prison?
No, but I wish you'd go. just do a gallery story. That's what I mean.
Yeah, try everything once.
Have you ever been pulled up to a fast food drive-in with Mark Zona and he attempted to eat all of your bag fries before exiting the parking lot?
Do you realize I've never eaten fast food with Mark Zona. Mark Zona is a restaurant eater. I mean, it's still fast-ish food, but I've never eaten a burger with him in my life.
Something you got a bucket list, bro.
I'll do that. I've eaten a lot of other crap.
Slim Jims, turkey, bacon jerky, and 5-hour energies. Boom. Will my hero Rick Clunn finally weigh in all his fish in this year's Elite Series?
Yes.
Good.
He's my hero, too, just so you know.
Awesome. This lure has saved so many episodes of Facts of Fishing. This lure has saved so many episodes of Facts of Fishing.
Jerkbait.
Jerkbait's the go-to on the Facts of Fishing.
When it doesn't matter if you're going to get some to eat it, so jerkbait for sure.
Dave Mercer, greatest rock and roll band in the world.
Greatest rock and roll band, the Beatles. Sorry, I know you're expecting more rock, but everybody, nothing's been freaking original since the Beatles. Just so you know, people.
Wow.
So it's the Beatles.
Calm down. It's the right answer.
That's good. That's good. We're with you.
It's the right answer.
We're respect, bro.
Good.
Bass fishing
Nailed
respect. It's right there. Respect. Respect, Mr. Mercer. Couple more rapid fire. Let's really speed this up. Let's get going here. The last movie that made you cry, Dave Mercer.
Bait Shop.
Great answer.
I'm just upset I didn't get to be in it with Zoda.
And Tommy, they nailed it, dude. They're amazing. they, but you're still dancing with who brung you. I mean, that's the deal. Right there.
Jacob Wheeler was in that one.
Your first thoughts when you finally saw the mass exodus of elite anglers come to fruition. Your first thoughts. Sadness. Understandably so.
They're all honestly, and I don't have a side. I've said from the start, I don't pay entries like these guys. I have the utmost respect. I want them all to find success to the utmost level. And I think one thing is going to be certain that a lot of pros are going to be very successful in the next number of years, no matter where they fish. But it's sad. Just sad to me. Like, it's sad that so many questions will most likely remain unanswered.
Agreed.
If Aaron doesn't win this one, I feel robbed as a fan I'll never know if Aaron would have won a classic. If Kevin doesn't win this one, I feel robbed as a fan to know if Kevin would ever got number 5. Because it doesn't matter if he goes to MLF and gets 5 world championships in a row. It's still not that 5th classic.
Exactly.
So yeah, sadness.
It's a tough one. And we had Ronnie Moore on a couple weeks ago, and I kind of explained to him how I felt about it, and I think a lot of bass fishermen share the same emotions or feelings. Now, again, I'm just going to be real brief about this, but I love FLW. I love FLW tournaments. I love watching MLF. But whenever I close my eyes, the symbol of professional bass fishing that I see is that blue and gold BASS logo. Not going to kid you. It's been in my mind, ingrained since I was 5. Okay? So that's a tough one. And for me as a bass fishing fan, I feel I never get nervous. I never get anxious. I really don't. Well, when I interviewed Rick Clunn, I was a little shaky that day. I'll be honest.
I still am.
But I'm a little nervous, Dave. I'm a little nervous about this, man. I'm not going to kid you.
Why are you nervous?
I don't know, because I know Bass is still going to kick ass. I'm going to miss a lot of guys, man. I really am. It's like when I do this show, I'm going to slip up and I'm going to say, Elite Series angler Kevin Van Dam, welcome to the show. And I'm going to be like, oops. I mean,
whenever you're bogged down with those nightmares you have about making that mistake, remember, I have to MC the upcoming classic.
Yeah.
You made me feel so much better. Thank you, Mr. Mercer.
You're just going to have to get used to the word former. You're going to have to say former. A lot.
Former, yes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, honestly, those guys are... I spent weeks on the phone with guys when this all went down. This probably was one of the most emotional things I've ever been involved with business. I mean, there's people that are fishing MLF, grown men that were in tears on the phone with me. You know what I mean? That's what we're dealing with here. I mean, don't think that they don't love bass. I mean, they're trying to do what they're making a business move. And I honestly, I wish everybody nothing but luck. I think it's a great opening door for a lot of the guys on the Elite Series. I don't think our job changes. We're there to promote the guys who hold that trophy. And I also think, to be honest, I think some will be back. You know what I mean?
Wow,
think about it.
Look at you.
Let's climb in Jason Christie's brain right now. Just because he intimidates me, and I'm in another country, so I'm not intimidated by him whatsoever right now. Just imagine, let's say Mr. Christie wins the next 2 MLF World Championships. Let's say they pay $500 million each. It doesn't matter. The money's the same. A very full, happy Mr. Christie. But 2-3 years from now, when he sits on that chair and thinks to himself, not only didn't I win the Classic, but I removed myself from contention in my prime. Just saying. I mean, maybe he'll never do that. Just saying.
And you better be glad that you're in another country, because Christie's a badass. He is the only, as you know, he is the only guy that's ever been on this show and killed a rattlesnake in his garage while he was being interviewed. It was pretty amazing.
It doesn't shock me. Let me tell you an insider story. I love Christie. Christie, I compare him all the time to Clint Eastwood, because that's what he is. He doesn't say a lot.
He don't, dude.
You look at Clint when he was at Jason's age, they're very similar. But I'll tell you, one of the most embarrassing things I ever did in my life happened with Jason Christie. And it was at last year's Classic. And thank God it never got, I'm sure it got caught on somebody's camera. And if you did catch it, I'd like to see the footage, because it was a stupid mistake, but funny. So I'm a drama queen. I don't know if you've realized this, but I run around and spit water on the stage and do all sorts of stuff. So Jordan Lee takes the lead, and all day long I kept telling people Jason Christie's going to win. I mean, there's no way the fish gods are that evil. You can't lead the first 2 days of 2 Classics and not win either of them, right? He's going to catch them. So I was certain he was going to win. But anyways, Jordan wins his second Classic. Crowd goes wild. I'm screaming, unbelievable. Or I yell the weight, and I go, if you remember this year's stage, it was in the round. So we had a runway on each side of it. Imagine a cross over a circle, right? So those are your runways, basically. And all week long, the freaking photographers were yelling at me. When you have a stage that doesn't have a behind, it doesn't matter where you stand, you're pissing somebody off. So all week long, I had
they're
these
abusing
photographers saying, go stand here, go stand there. And you're running out of areas to go stand, basically, to keep everyone happy. But Jordan wins. I yelled away. Like a drama queen that I am, I go to the walkway in the back and I drop to my freaking knees like a drama queen and scream, unbelievable. And as I'm screaming that, I hear from behind me, I got to get out of here. And then I see this leg come over me. And Jason Christie's crotch brushed the top of my head as he exited the classic stage. And I felt pretty bad for getting in his way, but
Moments of greatness. that is awesome right there. Yeah, you don't want to don't piss off Jason. Don't do that. Wait till he comes back to Bass, then piss him off.
Okay.
All right.
I might just keep pissing him off so he comes back.
Yeah, there you go.
I will relentlessly trash talk him.
Hey, let's geek out on Abu Garcia a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah.
The Go ahead.
Sorry?
Go ahead, David. Go ahead.
It's been really cool to work with them. I'll be honest. I mean, like I said, I'm always honest, and I keep saying that. I shouldn't say that because usually when people tell you they're honest, they're a liar.
Yeah. Car salesman.
But I was with Shimano for a bunch of years. Everybody knows that. 27 years. It took me a year to figure out who, was the right partner moving forward. And thank God we had a bunch of people interested. But thank God I made the right decision and found the right partners because I haven't been happier in years. And people, and I honestly, not to get all hokey pokey with you, but I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason.
Absolutely.
And I'll be honest, when you lose a sponsor after 27 years, you start saying, what the? There's no reason.
Yeah, you were still sleeping with your sponsor, even though you weren't, like it was like a divorce where you were still banging your wife or something. It was weird.
I thought it was good. I thought she was satisfied. Sure acted like it. I'm telling you, I know those noises.
Sorry about that.
It's funny. A few years later, working with Abu and just a fresh start with a fresh team, it really has been super rewarding. And you want to talk about a fired up and excited group. And you look what happened with Bass this year, that the whole deal, with Angler of the Year, you looked at Lucas and Josh and what big of a deal that Max sent was for that.
Sure.
It was really cool to, every company seems to go through stages, you know what I mean? And I think that there was years where Berkeley wasn't listening, and they'll admit that, there was years where under different direction, they were just doing certain things. But right now, they're one of the funnest teams to be part of. I'll tell you, their entire team, whether it's Skeet, Bobby Lane, all those guys. We did at the last Elite Series event, we did a sponsor day with those guys or Abu, and it's cool to be part of a team that's growing and got so much stuff coming out and is on the cutting edge. They're the stuff that they're putting into baits is amazing. There's baits that what I love about it is when you work with a company like that, when they want to get it right with a big company, they do.
They do.
What I
mean?
Nail it. Big companies a lot of times will go through patterns where they're like, nobody's listening. But right now, they're listening to their pros, and their pros are winning on their baits.
Big time.
The Max Scent thing, that is no commercial. I'm telling you, Justin Lucas was like a drug dealer in Waddington. He had little piles of them on his boat, and I'm like, well, what are those? And he's like, well, those are so and so's, and those are so and so's. I mean, it was amazing the difference that made. There was a ton of. I mean, it didn't even get the pop on camera that it should have, because a ton of guys sponsored by other companies were using it, so they weren't saying crap. Sure. But we're on the water, and that Max Scent thing, I'll be honest, I'm a believer. I love it. The difference between Max Scent and regular, just to explain it, let me just spend a second, if I might.
Please do.
A lot of people are confused. They look at power bait, right? And then they look at Max Scent, and they're like, well, what's the difference? Well, power bait is a taste. When a fish grabs it, it won't let go because it tastes. right. But it's not a scent. Max Scent puts a scent field in the water, around that bait, similar to what a gulp would do.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It puts that scent around it. And I honestly think that's why it was such a big player in Waddington. If you think about it, those guys were all drop shotting, but they're covering water at, over 2 miles an hour in some situations. So it's a split second decision by that fish.
Yeah, there's
and
chumming.
they sit behind. Let's imagine my fist is a rock pile. Those fish, they just sit behind it. And when that bait comes along, they swim up and they decide to eat or not, or they just sit there. And I think the fact that the fish knew that bait was coming, you know what I mean? It wasn't gone. They were expecting something. And that, I mean, if anybody's telling you the truth, they know that bait dominated.
Everybody wants those flatworms, man. Everybody does.
It's insane. And so, yeah, no, I'm very happy to be working with them.
I can tell.
They're a great crew. I don't know how we got all my answers are like onions. They have layers.
I like them. I like it like that. Hey, here's what I want to know is you were so intimate with Shimano for years. You got to know their product line. So what is the process for a guy like you, Dave Mercer, who is newly sponsored by Abu Garcia? How do you figure out what you like? How do you know?
Well, that started even before I signed with them, believe it or not. That was kind of the first thing that I did. And I'm not saying the way I do things is the right way or the only way. It's just the way I did it. But before I would talk to anyone, I reached out to people, and some people reached out to me from different companies. But before I'd ever talk to somebody, when you use one equipment for that long, I mean, you don't know other people's products. So I said, I need to test your product.
Sure.
And I spent literally all last season testing everybody's product. I mean, you name it, I tested their product, and that was where the process started. And so I started to get confidence in the product, and then you basically this year I've spent a ton of time on the water, just doing certain techniques, because that's how I kind of dial it in. You know what I mean? When you want to find out what the perfect drop shot rod is, I'll just go drop shotting that day. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I'll dial in different techniques and stuff like that, or different setups, because just because it says it's a spinnerbait rod doesn't mean it's going to feel right for you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, there is a kind of a process you got to go through there, because sometimes you order things, you're like, this from this company, it's a little stiffer. From this company, it's not quite as stiff. They're all actions are different, but I'm proud to say that they got great equipment.
They do. And
honest.
I love Abu reels. The Revo, I have been with Abu Garcia for quite a few years now, since the introduction of the Revo, actually. And again, not a sales pitch, but I'm impressed and comfortable with each new generation of Revos. When it comes to winding, this is what I want to know from you now that you've had a little taste of the Abu Garcia line. What reel do you like for, let's say, winding crankbaits or spinnerbaits? What do you use?
Well, it depends. I mean, I'll tell you, that rocket I used a lot this year for burning spinnerbaits.
Really?
I mean, that thing is ridiculous. I mean, it's 10-to-1 retrieve. So, you're talking about 41 inches of line every time you turn the handle. It almost took me, you were talking about adjusting, it took an adjustment process in how I even fight fish. Because your general way you fight fish is, boom, you set the hook and you turn that handle as quick as you can and get that fish into the boat. But now you're dealing with a reel that I literally did, I had chesty camera on, a GoPro camera on, and I was shooting, and I watched the footage back of catching fish under a dock. 6 turns of the handle to get a fish into the boat.
Yeah.
So it's so fast, you actually have to change the way you fight a fish. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because that fish is covering so much more ground. So that was definitely a reel that I used a lot. I'm a big fan of the SX. You know what I mean? Just a straight up Revo SX. It's a working man's reel. Like, that's the reel. If somebody said to me, hey, I'm going to fish a bunch of tournaments and, I'm just getting into this, but I want a bunch of different gear, for each different technique. I'd say get a Revo SX. You know, it's not going to break the bank, and that's
For
one of the cool things.
$160, come on,
Yeah,
you can't
I'll be
go
honest.
wrong.
It's nice to, you know, it got worrisome at times. I'd promote a really nice reel up on a tank at Bass Pro, and then I'd come down and some man would ask me, how much is that reel? And they'd get mad when I'd say $1,200. So that's refreshing. I mean, but that being said, I love everybody at Shimano. They're all still close friends of mine and everything like that. That's the cool thing about this industry. But I love the Abu guys more now.
Try the premiere for winding crankbaits and spinnerbaits. If you're not.
That is a great reel. I mean, it's super. The gears on that, I throw that a lot for smaller crankbaits and bigger. I mean, it's got power, but it's also, that's a awesome reel.
Yeah,
I love that.
One of my favorites. And I flip with the Rocket. You can't beat the Rocket for flipping.
Mm-mm.
I mean, come on. Come on.
I mean, 10-1. Why not?
Yeah.
No doubt. Hey, I have an idea for you for the Elites next year.
Bring it.
Yeah, it's a new game show that you're gonna play, and
Okay.
and it is called The Sounds of Satisfaction with professional bass fishermen. So I texted you earlier and asked you to have a pen and paper available. Do you happen to have that? Oh, look at you on a nice yellow pad with a clip, old fashioned. I like it.
Yes.
I like it. It's amazing. I need you to write these anglers down here. Okay? Write their names down.
Okay.
Ish Monroe. Ish.
Thank
KVD.
you.
KVD. Swindle.
Okay.
Rojas. Fighter.
Okay.
Fighter. Aaron Martins. And Mark Davis. Mark Davis. Yes, he's our wild card.
Now, just to be clear, which Mark Davis are we talking about? Are we talking freshwater or saltwater Mark Davis? There is two.
Yeah, no, I meant Mark Sosin. Mark Sosin is the wild card.
Okay.
Yes, Mark Sosin.
Okay.
So saltwater. Saltwater to answer your
Okay.
question. Lefty Cray is the wild card.
All right. I love that.
So what I am going to do is play you these sounds of satisfaction from anglers, and you guess which angler is making this sound of satisfaction.
Now, these are legit sounds
These are
that these anglers made?
legit sounds. Match them up to the angler. They
Okay.
are super, super sexy. Are you
All
ready?
right.
It's time. Yeah, let's play the sounds of satisfaction with Elite Series MC and host of the Facts of Fishing, Mr. David Mercer. David, here's a sound of satisfaction from our first angler. Match it up, Dave.
Oh my gosh. Yes! I knew when it got, I was like, whoa. Oh my gosh! Oh. Wonderful. This is.
Okay, guess who that is? It's not one of your guesses on here.
Well, Zona was in there.
Yeah, that was I'm sorry, Lefty
I'm
Cray
going
was,
to go with Ishama.
okay, no, that's wrong actually.
Oh my God, another big one.
Who's
Another
this?
freaking giant. Oh, baby. Get your butt in there, please. Another giant tried to come in. Just, girl, get back in there. Come on.
It got it. It's Ish.
It's Ish. That is right. He said, "Come on, girl,
He
back
he
that
was
butt back
way
in
too
here."
calm there. That was sexy Ish.
Yeah, that
That
was
was
sexy-ish. He said, "Come on,
yeah. He
girl."
was way too calm and lay her down by the fire talking. And then when he hooked it, I knew it was Ish.
That
Okay,
one was from
next.
the first Elite Series tournament, wasn't it?
The
Amistad?
yes, that was Amistad. You were exactly right. He coaxed that big girl into backing her butt up.
Big
That's what
old
he did.
tiger tube.
That's what he did. This tiger tube. Hit us with another one, Ginger Ninja.
Oh my God, come on, G. Get her back up.
That'd be Gerald.
Gerald Swindle. Got it back up.
I mean, the fact that he said, "Come on, G,"
Oh,
is
did
kind
he?
of a giveaway.
I think he said,
We
"Come
are
on."
so professional here. It is amazing.
I think he said G string.
He
I
did.
think he said, "Come on,
Yeah.
G string."
He did. He did right there. Okay, let's give us another exciting.
That's what I'm talking about right there now. That's what we're looking for.
My brother from another mother, Uncle Kev.
That was Uncle Kevin. That is exactly right. He was just right to the point. That's what we're looking for. That's what I'm talking about right there. Kev don't mess around. He don't mess around. There's no doubt about it. No doubt.
Got her. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Go.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's just listen.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Dave,
Yes. 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 Yes.
he's so excited about the BPT, this angler. Guess who that angler is?
I'm going Rojas. It's Rojas.
That's
right?
Rojas. That was the ultimate sound of satisfaction.
Yeah,
right
he
there.
was very satisfied
Yeah,
there.
no, there's
Very,
no doubt
totally.
about it. And these sound clips are pulled all from you guys at BASS, so thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
We appreciate that enjoyment that you give us with the sounds of satisfaction.
Take whatever you want. We're willing. Come, go, stay. It doesn't matter.
Oh, jeez, Dave. There's it's a big year. You're excited, right? 2019, man. 2019.
Very excited.
It's going to be the biggest year ever. Historical making Bassmaster Classic because of the changes. And
The most awkward classic in history.
yes, yeah, that's for sure. And a historical 2019 Elite Series. No doubt, man. No doubt. Who's the new shining star? Who's the new shining star on the dashboard instrumentation panel of BASS?
I don't think anybody can tell you that right now. I think that if you look at the Elite Series field that was introduced today, there is
75.
a ton of incredible anglers out there. I think that what happens with Bass, if you look at it, everybody talks about Kevin leaving Bass or, Skeet leaving. And trust me, those are two of my best friends on earth. I hate to see them leave, but if you look at our leaderboards, I mean, there's been an evolution of, you look at who's in the top 12 on Sundays. If you take the Championship Sunday, all of them last year, and you look at the top 12, it's never the same group of guys. You know what I mean? It's changing. You get those guys who have their seasons, like obviously this year it was Lucas. Last year it was Brandon. I mean, Brandon had a great season this year too.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of bright, shining stars, and there's a lot of guys that are excited. And I'll be honest, there's a renewed excitement amongst a lot of guys.
It seems that
change
way.
is scary, but it also motivates people. It also engages people, and I think you're gonna learn. I don't want to pick one guy.
I know it's tough.
Hey, there's 3 Canadians coming.
Yeah.
Chris and Corey Johnson.
The Johnston
Jeff
brothers.
Jefferson. They're going to win everything. Canada's taking over.
They're the new face of Bass. It's right there.
That's it.
It's the new it's the new face of Bass. But I mean, the bottom line is that there's got to be somebody. There's got because
Steve Kennedy.
Steve Kennedy.
Steve Kennedy.
It's the new face of Bass. I love Steve.
He's gonna be up there a lot. That's all I'm gonna say.
Have you been smoking medicinal Canadian
No,
marijuana
I
since
was
it's
thinking
legal
about
now?
that for are you dissing Steve Kennedy?
No, I love Steve Kennedy.
All right.
I don't see him as the new
Take it
face of
easy.
Bass. No offense.
Well, if you go statistically,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Steve Kennedy, obviously, he's always in contention, but if you go statistically, the newest, biggest, shining star at Bass, I've got his name right here. The Amazing Fighter Man.
Mm-hmm.
If you take away the guys that went to MLF, he's your Angler of the Year.
there it is. And did you read Bassmaster.com today? Did you see
I did.
the
I read it
article? Of course, we all do. And did you see the article about Seth and Chris Grove's show?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now I'm going to tell you something right now, and I don't know if you know this or not. Okay. You ready? Who's watching? Seth. Seth knows. Seth knows. Brian the Carpenter and I thought of that show. That's the deal. We didn't get any mention in Bassmaster.com.
Nothing.
Today. Nothing. Not a single mention. Not a single one, David. Not a single one.
I will make sure to let the bass fishing world know of the wrongs that have been done to you. I'll bring justice
I work hard.
every time I introduce you.
I work hard as a bass fishing talk show host, Dave. Dave, I work hard as a bass fishing talk show host.
I hear you.
All I need is respect, Dave. Respect.
I hear you.
I mean, it's not the bowl in the china shop that it may appear to be. Whatever the hell that means. It's not the shining horizon over the equator that keeps us burning in our hearts. It's the fact that I'm an idea man. I feed the tunas to the man. I feed the tunas to the man. I feed the mayonnaise to the tuna fish. And damn it, Brian and I thought of that show. Bottom line, there it is. Had enough of this shit already. Sorry, Dave.
I feel for you.
Thanks.
I feel for you.
Thanks.
Do you realize I yell all sorts of crap on a stage? Companies take that crap, turn it into their slogans, make T-shirts with that crap on it, and I get nothing for that either.
What the hell is going on with this industry?
Bull crap.
I don't know. We need to grab bass fishing by the throat and do something.
I'm going to make a tunas for the Manafish t-shirt.
A tunas for the Manafish. That was amazingly awkward. Dave, it is always fun when you're on this show. Do you know that?
No, I didn't. No, but thank you.
No, it is. I have a good time, whether it shows or not. I do. You're a good time, Dave.
Well, thanks.
You're a shining star.
I have several times. I have written on some bathroom doors for a good time.
Call DM. Hey,
maybe the calls have come.
Any last words for the bass fishing galaxy before we part ways?
No, I didn't really think of anything, but I will say one thing. You know what I'll say? My last words are: it's really easy to get when we're talking about the change in the sport and MLF starting its new tour and stuff like that. It's real easy to get on that bandwagon, and I don't mean the MLF bandwagon, I mean the bashing bandwagon, and to think that the world is falling. I want everyone in bass fishing to think about something. Right now, while you are watching this, there is more millionaires and billionaires investing in our sport than there ever has been in the history of this sport. This is a good time for bass fishing. It's a change. It's painful, to some of the stuff, obviously if kills me to think that I won't be introducing Kevin or Brandon or anything. But I'm going to tell you what's happening right now. Support bass fishing. I love bass fishing, and that's what I fell in love with. And I wish everybody luck. But the most powerful thing and the most important part of our sport is the fans.
100%.
Don't get bogged down in all this business BS. Enjoy the sport. Come January, February, somebody's going to catch giant fish. We're going to move on.
It's going to be okay.
I mean, this was built to be the perfect storm. I mean, the masterminds over there, they're like, okay, it's the end of the season. Everybody's pissed at the end of the season. We'll give them something to talk about this year on the internet. They won't even have to make up topics themselves.
No fake news. Dave, that was perfect.
Everybody luck. It's a good time in the sport. And trust me, the crew at Bass, I'm proud to work with an incredible group of people, whether it's Zona, Tommy, the TV crew guys, Davey, whether it's Mike McInnes, Steve Bowman, James Overstreet, all those guys. We went to work at the beginning of this year, and our goal was to take pictures Overstreet said it on his website or Facebook best, but our jobs were to take pictures or to announce and to promote and to spread the word about people that are holding the most coveted trophies in professional bass fishing. And our goal at the beginning of next season is no different.
Yes, that is a round of applause right there. Well said, Mr. Mercer. I think that's the clip of the week. That's the clip of the week right there. Dave, thanks again. And thank you for the support that you show this dumb show. We appreciate it, man. We really do.
Well, thank you, and thank you for being a dumb show.
Yeah.
I hate other shows. Dumb shows are fun.
Yeah.
I mean, the world needs more shows like this, and Ike and Panger and Jeffrey. I mean, we have fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
But if you stick around for the next 2.5 hours, I'm going to show you all the slip sinkers in my tackle box. I'm going to show you every size I have. Okay? So we got that going for us, Dave Mercer. These are 3/16.
We're going to show you how to upgrade your clevises and
Yeah.
spinnerbaits.
Dave, thank you so much. We'll see you soon. I'll see you at the Classic, man. We got to hang out this year, finally.
For sure, let's do it.
I sent you the picture of you and you were the two-headed Dave Mercer Trip Weldon monster from the weigh-in stage. Yes.
I was.
Memories I'll never forget. Dave Mercer, thank you again so much. Bass Fishing Galaxy.
Thanks,
that's Dave Mercer right there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Peace. Dave Mercer. Right there. Holy cow. I think it's time to give some stuff away now. Right?
Yeah.
How you feeling, Rye?
Not too good.
Yeah, I could tell.
Let's get out of here.
I could tell. You don't know how many times I held back during that performance right there. So what we're doing here is we're giving away $50 worth of tightrope jigs. If you don't know, tightrope jigs are handmade and hand assembled by this guy, Mr. Poopy Pants over here, and JPI, the hip hop fisherman. They make these jigs. They are sought after by, and I'm not kidding you when I tell you this, Elite Series anglers are asking these guys for these jigs all the time. And now BPT anglers.
Yes.
But
and
they used to be in
FLW.
the elites when they asked.
Not to name everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And FLW guys. But they are tightrope jigs. They are the baby firework popcorn tightrope JP Ryan Whitaker high jig. Right?
Yeah.
There it is, right there. Now, do we have a winner? You do. Okay. And so basically, like, how much is $50 worth of tightrope jigs? It's like 2 jigs, right?
No, it's going to be 10 jigs.
10 jigs.
Yeah.
10 tightrope jigs.
It's a nice fun pack.
For the giveaway.
Variety of
A
colors.
fun pouch. And ladies and gentlemen,
Couple sizes.
speaking of fun, we bring to you Bass Fishing Supermodel Nicole Dorr. Yes. Yes, Nikki. That is an awesome shirt you have.
Yeah.
Nice. Look at you modeling the Stray Cast shirt.
Try my hardest.
Did Ryan get that for you?
It was a present.
How you doing?
I'm good, and yourself?
Are you sleepy?
A little bit.
I could tell you seem a little bit sleepy.
Well, it's been raining all week.
I know. Well, that's a state of mind. It's just
Okay.
what happened, Andy? Oh, Andy says this is weird that I asked you if you were happy or something. What was weird about it? You got a microphone. Andy, you want to speak up? Oh, okay. Andy thought it was weird because I asked you something that wasn't weird. I didn't understand it.
He doesn't like to get deep. Fine.
It's like what?
He doesn't like to get fine.
That's true. I don't even know what she said. Nikki, we're going to give away some jigs. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, what do you think we give away $50 worth of tightrope jigs right now? Who's the lucky winner?
Becky Rose.
Becky?
Bucky?
What's his name?
Becky.
Becky. What's Becky's last name?
Rose.
Becky Rose.
Becky Rose.
I'm talking about the Becky Rose bright lights. That's it. Nice. Excellent. I'm super stoked that Becky Rose won $50 worth of tightrope jigs. Boom, boom, pow. It is right there. Nikki, it doesn't look like you're going to be able to do much fishing this weekend with the weather coming about.
No, it's been so bad recently. I can't. It makes me really sad.
Well, it's a good time to re-spool.
Things might freeze.
Yeah. Just try re-spooling this entire weekend.
Okay, I will the whole weekend.
Awesome. That is Nicole.
Yeah, back off your spools and then change them over to another reel and stretch them out. That's how you save money.
It's true. Ryan knows. Ryan's a frugal basser.
So make sure there's nobody riding their bike through the field in the park when you pull and tie it to a tree.
Yeah,
it will get stuck in their spokes.
And you'll pin them.
Not that ever happened.
Flat out. Becky Rose, you are the winner of the $50 worth of tightrope jigs. Thank you so much for watching tonight, and thank you for playing. Nicole, we'll see you next Wednesday, right?
Yes, you will.
Boom. Thank you so much. That's Nicole Dorr, bass fishing supermodel. Peace, chow, yow. Right there. Boom. Another episode of Stray Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. Thank you so much to all of you who to view tonight. Seriously, we have a great time doing this, and hopefully you can see it conveys. Remember, we are on iTunes.
Yes.
You can subscribe to our iTunes. You can subscribe to our
Instagram,
YouTube channel. Also, catch past episodes. Facebook, we are all over the place. Tell your friends. Tell your friends if you had fun tonight. Tell your friends about the show. Thank you so much to the sponsors: Dem Jigs, Bravarni, TH Marine, Alpha, Power Pole, JB Fish Sauce, PH Custom Lures, Shane's Bait, and War Eagle. Boom. Thank you so much, Bass Fishing Galaxy. I bid you peace. I'll see you next week. Ciao.